always terrifying when I post those things to Twitter and to the Reddits, because I suddenly go, oh my god, everything has to work at this point. We're actually trying something new. I'm now broadcasting live, you may not know this, to YouTube's streaming facility. Those people are going to be kind of orphans because I'm paying no heed to them. But if you are viewing this on YouTube, how did you find this? There is no way you could find that URL. If you can find that URL, you can probably find all my shared Google Docs too, which would be a little tedious for you. Hello, welcome to Code Therapy. Code Therapy is the most calming Twitch channel outside Bob Ross. Here we chill out, we relax, and we simultaneously and vicariously watch me try and learn Elm, which is a functional programming language, which is to say that it bends your brain trying to understand how to do it. It's also immutable, which means that if you bury it in the ground, it'll still be the same in 1,000 years. And it also means that any function in it has no side effects. Well, there are some side effects. If there weren't side effects, then basically its sole purpose would be to warm up computers. And you can do a little bit more than that with Elm. The little bit you can do is web app programming, which is something that, you know, everybody from age 5 is doing right now if they haven't all fleed to the world of mobile apps doing things in Swift. Swift, I believe, is a good language, but it's not got quite as nice name. So to show you what we've been doing in Elm, we've been very slowly, because I'm a very bad programmer, been developing a little mini game, memory game, which is called Dual N Back. Dual N Back is actually something that was based on a psychological test. There's not many games that are based on psychological tests, apart from the Stanford Prison Experiment first-person shooter that's very popular at the moment. This is the game. You get a little blob, and you have to remember where the blob 2 steps back was, or n steps back, because it gets progressively harder. And if you see that match, you hit position match and you get a point. And it also, some scientists believe, increases your working memory, which makes you better at everything, and increases your fluid intelligence, which means that if you drown, you'll drown while screaming out very long words for help. All right, so this is our source code. If you want to follow along on Git, it's there. It's in Danny OB, Dual N Back. I was going to play some music, but I was talking to the awesome Firewall. All right, did I get your IRC name right? And he pointed out that it was a unique selling point of this show that we don't have music, and also, woohoo! Sorry about that. Got a little bit more psychedelic than I was planning, even at this late at night. And also that I couldn't work out how to play the music without waking everybody else up in the house. So that's the reason why we're not getting music this time. It's generosity to everyone. I'll stop doing that. Let me go up here. Click 3. Okay, here we go. Fire Watcher. Oh my god, you see, I just didn't get it right. I'm sorry. It's not your fault, Fire Watcher. It's entirely the fault of my family. That's not how those things are supposed to work. You're supposed to blame strangers, not turn in your own family. Alright, let's have a look. This is where we are. I apologize to Firewatcher and anyone else who goes through my videos on YouTube, because we actually couldn't. Last night was good, and unfortunately we lost it because I ran out of power on my laptop. And apparently, if you run out of power, you don't get the recording. And of course, I forgot to start the show. Hello, everybody. Everybody on the stream is going to be annoyed now. and everybody on the video is going to go, why didn't he explain dual M back and Elm like he's supposed to, and like that nice man on the Elm Reddit told him to? But I'm not going to do that. I'll try and do it super quickly because it's good practice. Elm, fantastic language. It's functional, it's immutable, it wraps your brain in exciting new ways, and like once you come through it all, you're a better programmer, and you can fight Haskell people in cage matches and you'll win. Dual M back memory testing program looks a little like this. You click on it, you see the blobs, two blobs that are the same but with one in the middle. You hit that button, you get a point, and it improves your memory, improves your fluid intelligence. That's all you need to know to follow along with this. All right, after that slightly messy beginning, let's see if we can tidy up this code. So yesterday I couldn't record my episode, but really you didn't miss much. You principally missed me literally tidying up the code and putting in a few comments. For those of you who've just joining us and for whom this looks like gobbledygook, it's pretty straightforward. This is the main program. It calls an initialization. There are two other bits of it, three other bits. One displays, one updates the current state, and another one brings in external state. So if you imagine without that, this thing just buzzes along and doesn't really do anything much without human interaction. And the subscriptions are like a call out and says, well, something else has to happen. So here are some other things that will prompt changes. Won't start with that because that's the hardest thing. The easiest thing to show you is deck view, which is called from view. Here we go. Actually, let's move those two a little bit closer so people don't get too confused. Here we go. So the view takes a model, which is the entire state of the program. It's a special type. Elm is a strongly typed language, and it returns some HTML and a message, which is how bits of Elm send around useful information to one another. We say here, well, actually, view takes a variable model, calls tech view with model as an argument. There are no brackets of that kind of thing in Elm. Deck view takes similar arguments and then does this cool thing. This is actually not built into Elm, but it's a library called HTML. But as you can see, it looks very much like HTML, and it actually constructs HTML on the fly and then returns it. And little bits that you can pluck out, even if you've never used Elm. It's like this is clearly showing the score. This probably is a button with some text and does something called new card. And this shouts out something, probably rude, on the screen. And this is another button. And I can actually show you just how close your guess was, because up here we have a built-in server that will spot when we change things on that screen and update it. Oh, Twitch does have a copy. I'm not sure if it has the second thing. Actually, I should try and download that because I know they delete them on the fly. So that's a really good point, actually. The reason why I'm streaming to YouTube is because I thought that was a good safety net, but this will do. So for those of you who are guessing along with me, you can see that that's pretty much what this does. But look, I'm pressing buttons and the buttons are doing something. Why? How is that happening? Well, the on-click new card creates an opportunity for a message to go through this. And the messages come in to this function update. And messages are the only way that you can create a change in this whole thing. and you do it through the update algorithm. So what we have here is it's going through all the possible commands that we've defined and doing various things with them. So if you look, new card is this function here, case message of, if you're used to more earth-based programming languages, is very like case or switch in C style languages. And what we have here is returning the model with no changes. So you'll see here that update returns two things. One is the model, which you'll remember stores all our state, and messages, which you'll remember are the things that get sent around. And we're actually not changing the model, which is kind of odd. You'd think getting a new card would change the model, but that's because we're sending a new signal, this thing, which will actually generate a random number and then send it packaged off in this command. Here's a list of all our commands, and you can see new card is there, and this, and got random card, which is the command that this is sending, actually carries something in it. It actually has something that it returns with it, and this shows a couple of things. One is the type system. The type system, and this is actually a type of a variable, and it can only have these values. But one of these values, these things are called tags, one of these values can actually contain variables of its own, numbers of its own. There's a great technical term for this, which I forget, but I'll find next time. So, what does it return? Well, it returns this, and you might think, well, what is that pointy bracket thing? Well, as we've seen in these other functions, pointy bracket actually is an indicator that this is a function, and it's a function that takes a model and returns a card. So actually, when we get back to got random card, when this turns up, we have a function. And this is part of the nature of functional programming languages, is that you often flow around and throw functions around when other people would throw around values. And the reason why we do that is because card maker, this thing, random card, the thing that we stuffed into got random card here, returns a function, model card, and the reason why it returns a function is because not only creating a random card position like this, it's actually cheating, because we discovered, and we're back, only I'm even tinier this time. There we go. Well, I'm pretty glad that worked as quickly as that. I suspect that we're only broadcasting to Twitch now. Let me just check. Oh no, we're still broadcasting to... Great. Okay. Well, that was a slightly quicker recovery than I'm used to, but I'm sorry it happened nonetheless. Just get back my picture of you lot. You look great, by the way, all of you. Okay. How many things can go wrong in the first few minutes of this? None wrong. Okay, so this returns a function, and it needs to return a function because one of the things it's going to do is look back at our pile of cards in the past. And so it returns a function, and then we use that function here, card maker, to add a new card to the deck. So we call card maker with the current model. It looks at the model, looks back in time to see if there's a card that it needs to mimic, and then it returns that new model, and that new model is changed to add a new card. It's not the greatest explanation I've given of how this works, but as it gets more and more complicated, I realize that that it's a little bit harder to explain all of these things. So I'll continue to where we are, and the bit that you would have missed from yesterday probably, unless a Firewatcher suggestion works. And that is clearly the biggest problem with this is that we really don't want to press the button. The blob has to come up, stay there for 2 seconds, and if we don't work out what we're supposed to do, we've missed our chance. So we wanted to put a timer into it. We wanted to start this. And we did a bunch of stuff to do that. First of all, we created in the subscriptions a thing that sent a timer for every second. And we only turned that on if we were waiting for the user to make a choice. So there's this thing in the model called waiting for choice. And then we went in and we set waiting for choice. Just so you want to look, here's the model. Here are all the things we have. We have a deck of cards, which is all of these positions in the past. We have N, which is how far back you should be looking to make the comparison. The user, when you're going, oh, does this blob match this other blob? And then we have a score. So waiting for choice is a Boolean, and we set it here. No, we set it here in start timer. The start timer returns a model with waiting for choice. It's true. Start timer gets sprung just when got random card comes in. So as soon as you get a random card, the timer starts ticking. And then when the timer ends, we turn off waiting for choice, which means that we don't have a timer anymore. But we do send a little error message up into the console. So with a bit of luck, if we look in the console, are we seeing anything? Yeah, we're seeing hello. And I bet we're seeing hello happen a lot. Yeah, look. It's interesting that it's only triggered for the first time when you press that button. No, that makes sense, because then it triggers and then it stops, and then something new has to trigger it. So probably later on we'll actually have to make this trigger the new one. Actually, I'm going to try that now, because I had a brainwave about why this was not triggering, how to trigger the next one. So right now we don't return any commands when we go with model. And my first sort of attempt to make that something different was to do this, right? Which is, oh yeah, we'll send a command and it'll have new card in it. And then we got an error message. Ooh, I didn't realize. Oh my goodness, look, it prints the error message down here. That's pretty funky. Oh, I like that. Okay. And you can't do this, and you can't import it, and that's just not how you do these sort of things. Command isn't exposed in any way. And I was probably an idiot to think that. But what you do... Does that work? Function map is expecting the thing to be message beta B. Maybe I'm just a lot of what I do in functional programming is like cargo cult functional programming, and I sit there and go, well, maybe map will do it. But map, if you look, Elm command map, it's gonna be there, right? Map is sort of how you airlift things into tagged behavior. Now I'm beginning to sound like the Haskell people, where they go, well, you just lift it You just lift it into the monad. But it does make a crazy kind of sense as you think about it. So map takes something that returns a message and then takes that thing and returns something wrapped in this command. Command is what's called as a tag. So what I need to do here is to create something which is a function that returns a message. I sort of imagine as I get better at functional languages, I'll do this, every 5 minutes. But for now, holy crap, how do we do that? Well, the really stupid way of doing this is that. So this is a lambda. This is how you do an anonymous function, and this is taking an argument. And normally you'd put in something like that's the argument, and then you do something with the argument here. But because we're not doing anything with that, we don't need to base this on anything. You can actually just put underline, and that just means I'm paying no attention to the argument there. And then we return that, and that should, and then we do command no. Does that make sense? Apparently. Okay. Well, let's try it. Let's get this out of the way. It's hard enough for you to see this with my head in the way. Is it going to do it again? No, it's not. Well, I wonder what it thinks it is doing. All right. Doop-a-doo. I really want to litter these things with I'm watching Bob Ross. Bob Ross is a new thing for me. We didn't have Bob Ross in the deprived United Kingdom of the post-war years. We had food rationing and rhubarb and custard, the cartoon, not the food. That would have been too much. And we didn't have Bob Ross. And so I've been sort of, as anyone is, fascinated by him, and I'm trying to work out how to make myself sound. I could perm my beard, and I could just talk to you about how you're all beautiful people, and the whole point of programming is to create something that you love and make you happy. This is not making me happy. It's pretty much that. I mean, I when I talk to programmers, it seems to me that programming is the opposite of painting, no matter what Paul Graham says, in that programming seems designed a lot of the time to make you really unhappy. Temporary moments of grace, followed by awful scenes of trauma. Oh, okay. Put that in the wrong place. Now, 2 arguments, and you've only given it, what, 3? I gave it 3. I didn't give it 3. Why, man? I ever give this 3? Okay. So let's kick up the debugger. Hot module replacement enabled. Couldn't tell you what that means, but what it isn't doing is kicking up this new card command. At least I don't think so. Seems strange that this is saying its type is map. Is it like actually pulling in what that function is? Time to go to the REPL. REPL. Ah. That's alright. Sometimes my... Oh, it's probably... Okay. Am I making it more complicated? Could that be the case? I think you might be right. What do you think, Firewatcher? How do you think you return... I'll just come on. No. Firewatcher says, do you really need to stop and start the timer every card? Can't it just send your new card message directly? What can't what send the new card message directly? So this is the other thing about Bob Ross is Bob Ross is actually a good artist, so subscription. That's true. It could. That's a good idea. Let's see. So timer every second, timer ended. Well, does that fix it though? I mean, we've just got like the... So you're saying that So you're saying that we should go straight to new card. Probably. It might work. Try it. I mean, it'll work, but I have this, like, weird sense that... It's just my... You know, you've got this backseat driving problem now, Firewatcher, because you just watch me flail. card needs time. It's totally okay if I watch you interject as much. Just don't like cover your face, like because I can feel the shame from here. Now we have to stick something here that's a time. That's not going to go well. No, you see, I don't think this is good. Because I mean, we're gonna like, new card is a fairly discrete thing, and where should you put lambda returns new card? Oh no, I mean, we've done okay here. That's fine. Oh, you're lagging. You don't know what's happening in the future. Oh man, that's why I shouldn't take your advice. I'm living in the future. No, that wasn't what fixed that. So the problem is that suddenly we're going to have to stick in other things here that we don't know, or have to send out another signal to find out. I think it was a good plan. But I think it just pushes the problem down a little bit. So let's see if this still works. No. I think at some point we have to learn how to send a signal. I can't imagine that we're the only people in the world of functional programming or Elm that have had to do this. So let's have a look at the examples. I want to say that I'm just learning Elm, so I do feel like, you know, you should always be free to make up some have some exploration like this. My fear is that by the time I get to some other cool thing, I'll have forgotten all of this, and you'll just watch me repeat the same errors again and again, like this. Examples. So one of these is going to have, let's look at the largest example they have. One of these has got to have a thing where something sends a message. Update with storage, commands. Well, here's the update. Come on, batch. Storage new model. Is that storage a model? Don't know. This is all fancy. Here's the model. Where are the messages? Here's the messages. Oh, look at all those. Not making them messing around here. Nope. None of these return anything. That's interesting. Don't know what it is. Command batch. Where's it getting commands from? Okay, so it's sending this to something else. It's like wrapping, actually. Is set storage what is set storage? What does set storage return? Oh, it's a freaking port. Subscriptions. All right, let's try trusty Google. I assume update can send a message. I mean, you would think, right? From the tutorial, the basic tutorial that we should have done. I don't believe in tutorials. Right, so random generate returns one. Goes on the right territory of my Elm map. Look at that, that's exactly. But what's commands? Where did commands come from? Gonna try again. Yes, I know, Firewatcher. So, I just listened to what Firewatcher said about 5 minutes after he said it. Great. Still not working, Firewatcher. Still not working. Excuse me, my computer's CPU is just beginning to overload. I just want to make doubly sure that OBS isn't like slowly about to crash again. Look at it going up. Oh my god, it's going to do something. Can I hold on. Can I beat it to it? What's 44? Shouldn't be doing that. It should be alright. Guess it's kind of, it's chilling a bit. It's not going any faster. Alright, OBS. You stay like that. OBS thinks it's using 13% of CPU and it's not using 13% of CPU. Alright, I'll let you off this time, OBS. Alright, timer's ended. We asked for some new cards. You think we can just call update again with that in it? And that's the thing that you're supposed to do in this situation. You were right last time. I should listen to you. But I still want to change the model though. You said you weren't going to interject that much. Get your own live stream. Time every second tick. See, this is what I was drawing on before. I feel like that should cool. I'm not crazy. That seems to be the way to do it. It's fine. It's really fine. I'm just teasing. This is all very useful. And anybody else who wants to chip in, go for it. But I also recommend that you follow me on Twitch, even if that means you have to log in for the first time in your life. If you follow me, it'll send you a little update when I'm starting to type, and you can join in the chat without having to reverse engineer how to join IRC. Alright, just gonna check something else. Possibly. I might have been around America. I've been here for 15 years now. 16 years since 2000. This accent is completely put on. The thing that's interesting is that it's not so much my accent that's changed, but my cadence, I think. So I'll be talking perfectly normal Queen's English, and then I'll say, but you want to do this. Like, wanna? Like the Spice Girls? Everybody in Elm. Oh, this is great, by the way. I've actually subscribed to this daily drip. If you actually want to learn how to do Elm and not just watch someone else flailing around, subscribe to the daily drip. Really good. Look at that. There's a command map here. Look. Look. Oh, that's an init. I sort of want to know what's happening here. I really do. So that really does not send that back. Just goes there. That has no effect. go on the Elms Slack. Ask them there. Or I could call the update directly. Once again, 5 minutes after Firewatcher subscribes it, I could just do it. I could just do it. Gonna do it. Gonna do it. Feels weird. Okay, well, we're going to return that. So that all stays. Then we're going to, but before we do that, we're going to call update. We're going to have a map. Hard. That, and we're going to call no. Given 4. I wasn't trying that hard. Oh, Christ. Where are we gonna? Yeah, I know, it does feel weird. I mean, obviously, I've fallen into that classic example here of trying to write something in a declarative, in a imperative style. And now I'm like, what do I do with it? Well, you could just, for now, weird, but fits everything. Doesn't. Well, you tell me. Messing around. You were so right, Firewatcher. I should never have doubted you. Voila. Voila. It's quite hard. I think that's because it should be 2 seconds. Yes! I know, I'm still cheating. Alright, well that seems a great moment to finish this. So what did we learn? We learned to always listen to Firewatcher. And we learned that you can call update with these things. And in fact, that's probably the right thing to do, because trying to lift something into the command implies that it's an external signal, I believe they would call it. And this doesn't. This is just a straightforward message, so it can act on it immediately. That is a useful thing to know. All right. Learned something. And got something working. I wonder what, we should leave a note. So, all right, I'm gonna, I've started, one of the best, if you want to see somebody actually do this properly, by which I mean live streaming, so quietly done, is Joy of Code? Is that it? No. Firefox, Joy of Code. Joy of Coding. See, we're all using these ingenious puns. McConley, it's life hacks on Firefox. This is really good, and one of the things that tips I've taken from him, in theory, although I don't actually apply it in my real life, is that he's a very great note taker on his own stuff, and I'm gonna try and take that on board. Here we go. So, did we learn? And that when you need to send a message from update, don't try and slam it into a command to return. Just call update with the current model and modified model, and return with its return value. Command is for stuff coming slowly in potential side effects. I believe okay. What's next to do? Starting the date, we need to control the timer to tease out what other states we need apart from waiting. It's called waiting for. Waiting for choice. Alright, there me taking notes McConley style. Totally recommend that you check him out. It's really fascinating. It's big inspiration for me doing this actually. How much new stuff we got? Oh, did I really not check this in? I was so sad after my power ran out yesterday that I don't think I even checked in my clever timer stuff. Oh well. It's just a working timer. I'll just pretend that I created all of that immediately. Commit that. Quit. Great. Well, thank you all for living with me in this tricky time. Thanks particularly for Firewatcher. I really loved your suggestions, even if I didn't pay attention to them until it was totally too late. I'm going to blame the lag. That's what I'm going to blame. Do give me feedback. I would love feedback. I love email, even if I don't get a chance to answer it all. My email address is always danny@spesh.com. Typing. You can also follow me and Mala on Twitter. I think I'm somebody on Facebook, but don't really want to follow me on Facebook. That's it. If you've enjoyed this, donate to the EFF. We have some excellent stuff going on right now. We have a great new set of chuckers, including something I have to say I suggested. Yes, this was my idea. Passphrase dice. 5 dice that you can use to create a Diceware strong passphrase for you. And you can get that for a $5 monthly subscription. And given that the Electronic Frontier Foundation is protecting your digital civil liberties, you should consider $5 the minimum, frankly, that you should pay for that kind of thing. So support my my employer, and have a great weekend. I'll speak to you later, and thanks for all your support. See you soon. This is Code Therapy, getting off the couch and into bed. I'll go eventually. At some point, when I find the obs screen. There we go.